When Dayton Hudson's took over Marshall Field and Company, the first thing they did was got rid of the iconic green Marshall Field shopping bags. They were trying to save money, but there was a huge customer backlash. Trying to sell the people on less is more only goes so far. Currently, we hear that many leading retailers will be closing locations across the nation as a way to cut their losses, as consumers have found other options. At the recent primary elections, many expressed frustration over the low turnout at the polls. Apparently, not everyone identifies as Republican or Democrat. It seems like a choice, but really it's the lack of choices, and people naturally balk at that. We all understand the desire for greater efficiency, but limiting choices when you're supposed to be representing a plurality of people isn't really good for business or for government. It looks good on paper, but at the polls, nobody seems to be buying it. Welcome. Welcome to Conservative Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. At Conservative Coffee Hour, we're holding the space for messaging and articulating on topics. If you engage with people on a topic, often you can have a conversation which transcends politics, because most people are interested in the issue and not so much with the politics. At our recent conversation about the primaries, that's what we came up with. It's unrealistic to think that everyone is either a Democrat or a Republican. It's unrealistic. It's an unrealistic expectation, but we do it all the time. In a recent outrage about using public school buses to bring school kids to voting places, the argument was made that public funds should not be used to favor one party over the other. But then we can also ask, well, why is the state running the elections anyway? That's a smoking gun right before our eyes, but we never even noticed it. The election judges are paid here in Chicago, but apparently that's not universally so. It's potentially problematic. It's all indicative that we're all kind of lost in the narrative of diminishing returns. Last we checked, the U.S. government comprises 28% of our gross domestic product. Economically, the private sector is now competing with the government for time and resources. We're all very concerned about showing up at the polls and winning elections, but a form of economic tyranny is already in place. My friend Nancy was a counter-establishment flower child of the 1960s. She's suspicious of the status quo, but the status quo has flipped the narrative because now many 60s liberals are suspicious of anything that's not the status quo. And the idea of any moral high ground has been supplanted by selling us something. The case could be made that it's not so much communism we're fighting, but instead metastasized capitalism. Some call it evil, but it's actually more base than evil. You'd actually have to rise up and aspire to the level of evil. We all have to aspire to something. During this time of Lent, let us aspire to lift ourselves up and lift up others. If you would like to join us at Conservative Coffee Hour is every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time on Zoom. I will include my email in the description of this video. I'll be happy to send you an invitation. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.